All right, so today is Monday, April 21st, 2025, and I have a race scheduled for this Sunday, the 27th, in Santa Cruz, which is going to be a half marathon. And that is going to be approximately the midpoint between when I began my training on December 31st, 2024, and my actual marathon date in Santa Rosa of August 24th, 2025. So the big question is, how is my training going? Well, this right here is my running log, and this is where I document all of the runs, as well as the distance, duration, and the pace of each run, along with any qualitative notes, if any. And this is how I document all of my runs so I can track them and determine how I'm progressing. So I will say this, I am not a runner. And the reason I know I'm not is because I hate the long run, okay? I can't force myself to enjoy it. It's too long. The distance is too far. The duration of time is too much. And it doesn't feel like running to me. When I run 10 miles, it feels like I accomplished something. But when I run anything more than 10 miles, 15 miles or above, it just starts to feel like torture. And what I'm remembering is what it was like when I ran my last marathon and I hit the wall. And everybody hits the wall. Okay, so it is now 4 in the morning on April 27th, 2025. And I am getting ready to head out to the Santa Cruz Surfers Path half marathon. It is in fact raining outside, but that's fine because during my training for the past 4 months, I went running even when it was raining. And so this is going to be really similar to runs that I've already done, because I've done a run called Peer-to-Peer, which is basically the same course as what the half marathon is going to be. The other thing is, I want to get there early. It starts at 7. So I want to have breakfast now. I'm going to have a usual sized breakfast. I'm not going to have a big breakfast. I typically run on an empty stomach anyway. So I'm cooking with some Heston titanium pans. I love these pans. And I'm making some scrambled eggs and some French toast with sugar-free syrup. This is the breakfast that I eat on most days. So I want to recap a little bit about my thoughts on the race. I will say this. One of the things that is really apparent to me and that I need to change in my training is I realized how much faster my race pace is than my training pace. Because I ran a 7:30 today, and usually my runs are at the fastest 9:30. Usually they're in like the 11-minute range, to be honest with you. Like, especially when I do the longer runs, they're nowhere near 7:30. So I need to start getting onto the track more, and I need to start doing more speed work. I realized how important form is in order to get a pace that's decent. And I ran what I felt to be an appropriate pace. I felt like 3/4 of the way through the race, I really started to feel myself struggling for energy. And I was kind of in line with a girl that I called Green Shorts the whole time, except for the very end when she was like a quarter mile ahead of me. So I felt like I did kind of not budget my strength as well as I could have, especially towards the end. Because the thing is, the first half of the race, I felt like I was really cruising. And then right at the second half, I was like, okay, it's time to like put the gas pedal to the floor. And I went pretty fast at like the halfway point, but then like 3/4 of the way through, I could feel myself, I don't know if it was like a motivation thing, but I could feel myself not really giving it 100%. You know that feeling when you do it, and it's not good. And then when I saw like the 11-mile mark, I knew I was like really close, and so I stepped on the gas a little bit. And then right when I was at the 12-mile mark, that's when I like really like floored it. And I overtook a few people. But all in all, I'll say this. The lesson that I learned from this race is I need to start incorporating more speed work into my workouts, because I just wasn't going at a pace that I felt like I could have the whole way. There was parts of the race where I felt like I was slowing down. So that's my concern. But this is my medal. Looks pretty cool. I'm gonna go home and get some coffee. But fun race. All right, so it's now May 10th, 2025, and it's been a few weeks now since my half marathon, and I've had a chance to kind of process what I'm gonna do differently now since I've had a little bit of experience to practice for my upcoming marathon. And the most obvious thing for me now is the fact that my race pace is significantly faster than my regular run training pace. And so it makes sense for me to start training in a way that I'm going to be running during my race, which is faster than my regular run pace. So obviously the reason for that is because during a race, you're going for it and you're pushing really hard on your body. And so that's what I was doing during the half marathon. And I was sore for like 2 days afterwards because I really pushed myself. But I realized with speed work, you use completely different muscles and the breathing's different and everything's different. And so I started doing more speed work, and now I'm dedicating 2 days a week just to speed work. And so, for example, this week I did intervals yesterday. Yesterday was Friday, and I'm still pretty sore from it because my body's not used to that kind of intensity. But it's really good for me because now I'm starting to get more involved with my speed and getting better at my pace. And so I'm still doing my regular runs, which are 10 miles, and tomorrow is Sunday, so I'm gonna do my long run tomorrow, which is Ghost Peak. All right, so today is Mother's Day, Sunday, May 11th, 2025, and I just got to the top of my long run for today, which is Ghost Peak. And there is an absolutely gorgeous view up here today. Very clear skies. That direction over there is Santa Cruz and Monterey Bay. And Boulder Creek, which is where I live, is somewhere down there. Alright, so today is June 1st, 2025, Sunday, and today I'm doing my long run. So I've been doing Ghost Peak for the past month now or so, and so I think I'm going to try a new route today, a longer version of my peer-to-peer route. Basically Santa Cruz to Capitola, and then I'll extend it for maybe like 2 miles or something, we'll see. Alright, so today is June 21st, 2025, and today I'm in the Red Cross office here in Santa Cruz, and I'm going to meet some people, some co-workers from the Red Cross, and we're going to go to a little town called Gonzales, where we're going to do this community smoke alarm installation event. We do these events every so often in conjunction with the fire departments, and we're just going to make people's houses safer by installing free smoke alarms in the community. So I thought I'd take you along so you can see what this is like. Alright, so I just got back from the smoke alarm installation event, and we went to a place called Gonzales, California, where we installed smoke alarms for various houses. And now I'm getting ready to head back home. It's about 5:20. So it's a pretty long day, and I'm getting ready to prepare myself for tomorrow, which is Sunday, to do my long run. Alright, so I'm going to tell you the story about how I came up with the idea to run the Santa Rosa Marathon in August 2025. If I take a look back at my running log here, I can see that the first entry was on December 31st, 2024. And that was the day that I actually bought the tickets to run the Santa Rosa Marathon in August and the Santa Cruz Surfers Path Half Marathon in April, which was intended to be a practice run. So all this came about because during Christmas time, I got to talking to a woman named Cindy. Now, Cindy is my brother's wife's friend, and we were at my brother's house for Christmas. And Cindy and I got to chatting because Cindy is running her first marathon this year, and she was picking my brain, asking for my advice because she knew I ran a marathon before. But I was like, almost trying to talk her out of it. I was like, that was 10 years ago, and it was really grueling and a lot of time and a lot of effort, a lot of waking up early, and for me it was like a bucket list thing. I just wanted to cross it off my list and be able to say I did it. But there was something in the twinkle in her eye and the excitement that she felt from training for her first marathon, and I was like, I kind of miss that. I kind of miss having like a project, like a big project to work on. And I thought about it, and I was like, that marathon that I ran, that was a long time ago. It's probably time for me to renew my vows and prove that I can do this. So, I got home, I got to thinking, and very impulsively, the first marathon that I saw, the Santa Rosa Marathon, I just bought the tickets immediately. Because investment equals commitment. Once you've invested in something, you're committed to it. So at that point, I ran my first run on December 31st, 2024, and in that post in Strava, I said, first day of training for the Santa Rosa Marathon in August 2025. And at that point, I was committed to it. So I started recording in my log every single day. Now I did use Strava, but I did want to point out, I think it is important to actually write these runs down in a book, because there's something about writing them down that makes you internalize them. And having the information at your fingertips, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to be deleted. It's permanent. And there's something about writing something down that really feels like you own it. Now I want to talk a little bit about how my motivation changed, because honestly, the initial reason that I decided to run the marathon, apart from the fact that I wanted to kind of renew my vows and prove that I could do it, was also a bit of sibling rivalry, which I'm not really going to go into in this video, but that ended up changing. And as I started training more, I started to really want to do it for myself and not necessarily to prove something to someone else. But then two other things happened. The first thing that happened was I decided to create this fundraiser. As you know, I'm in the volunteer disaster services department of the American Red Cross. And I created this flyer here for a fundraiser. And the fundraiser was intended to support disaster relief, but also to keep me accountable. Because the more people provided me funding for my fundraiser, the more obligated I felt to actually complete the marathon. Then there was one more thing that happened, and that was I have an uncle, and his wife, when I was relatively young, maybe in high school I think, she suffered an aneurysm, and after that she couldn't really talk, she couldn't really move, she basically became kind of like a walking invalid. I hate to say that, but that's the truth. And it was very sad. And my uncle had a really hard time with that because he was married to her for the duration of her condition. And then she died in, I think it was March 2025. And my uncle is a runner, like a marathon runner. And he's like a real marathon runner, very good. And so we never really had like a relationship, me and him. And when she died, I contacted him and we chatted, and the thing that we talked about was, hey, I'm running this marathon in August. And he's like a huge runner, and so it became a way for us to bond and talk about something. And I think that helped him. I think it did. And it helped me too, because I got to pick his brain, and we sort of developed like a common ground with our love of running. All right, so today is June 22nd, 2025. And right now I'm at Capitola Wharf. I'm in the midst of my long run. So I'm gonna head down a little farther, get to the 10-mile mark, and then turn around to make it a 20-mile day. right, so right now I'm at the Santa Cruz Wharf and I'm almost done with today's long run. Just about a mile to jog back to the car and finish up this 20-mile long run. Okay, so I just got back from my long run and it was 20 miles. Basically, it was an extension of the peer-to-peer run that I do normally. So I just extended my peer-to-peer run a little farther beyond Capitola. And I went to a place I call Gazebo Point, which is 20 miles round trip. I feel pretty good. I feel like I was going, kind of slow, but that's to be expected. It is a long run. It was an absolutely gorgeous day today, so that helped. And I'm feeling ready for breakfast, so let's go ahead and head home. Okay, so today is Monday, June 23rd, 2025. So I wanted to give you an update on my training. And so I have moved my long run to a new distance of 20 miles. And I've been at that distance now for about a month. So now I'm debating whether or not I'm going to increase the distance further to 21 or perhaps 22 miles next weekend. Because I do want to get a little more experience in these long runs before I start to do my taper. And I'm really looking forward to actually beginning my taper because, to be honest with you, these long runs and this running schedule in general is just extremely time consuming. And I'm not able to do normal things that I used to do on the weekends and during the mornings because like every second of my life, it just all revolves around running. It's just the time commitment is so intense. All right, so today is the 4th of July, 2025, and I'm getting ready to head down to downtown Boulder Creek, which is where I live, because today I'm gonna be doing some volunteer work for a nonprofit known as CERT. And what CERT is, it's basically a program for regular residents to get training in disaster preparedness and disaster mitigation. And so what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be taking this here vest, and today I'm gonna be doing a little bit of traffic control and getting some practice with my radio. So let's go ahead and head out the door and check out this parade. So I just got back from today's long run, which was gazebo point plus 1 mile, because I tacked on an extra mile at the end of the gazebo point run, which effectively makes it a 21-mile long run, which is my longest long run to date. All right, so today is Monday, July 7th, 2025. And this morning I did intervals because yesterday I did my long run. And my long run was 21 miles. The longest long run I've had to date. And you know what? My relationship with the long run has actually changed. It used to be something that I would dread, but now I actually look forward to the long run. Sundays are my favorite day of the week. Sundays are sacred for me because there's something about going out super early in the morning, getting that run done, coming home, and having breakfast. When you have that breakfast, there is no breakfast you're ever going to eat in your entire life that's going to taste as good as a breakfast that you eat after coming back from a 21-mile run. And when you walk around the rest of the day, you walk around a little bit taller because you know you ran 21 miles that morning. And I look back at my logbook here and I say to myself, this is incredible progress. I mean, I couldn't run 21 miles when I started. And I think I owe all of this to the long run. I do think the long run is the most important workout of the week, and I can understand why the emphasis on the long run is so high. Because it forces you to endure what you're going to have to endure for the marathon. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get familiar with the wall. And acclimatize myself so I'm ready and I'm not surprised. But I do need to increase my pace. So that's why I've been doing so many of these speed workouts during the week. Matter of fact, let me go show you on the board where all my running routes are. All right, so what we have on the board here is a map of the running routes that I do. So let me go ahead and show you the first running route that I do, which is my regular run called Sand Mountain. So Sand Mountain is 10 miles in length, and I start here from my house, go across this bridge here, down this way, across this bridge here, and I do this because I want to avoid going on this main road here, so I don't get hit by a car, because I usually do this at night. And then this way, past these houses here, and this is like civilization on this side, and everything northeast of Beacon Point, this is like the boundary between civilization and the wilderness. So as I go farther along this road, it gets narrower and narrower, and then it gets steeper and steeper and more wild. Eventually, I get to a point where I top out right here, and I have a cool view of the San Lorenzo Valley. And I drew this dotted part here because the road kind of continues along a dirt road, and there's like some secret society here that I'm probably not supposed to know about. So I usually don't continue past that dotted part. Anyway, then I backtrack, and this is 10 miles in total. This is 1,000 feet of gain. And that is the run that I do pretty much every day. Some days I do intervals. And where I do intervals is right here, because there's this straight part right here, and there's like a loop that I can do, like a loop course here. My long run has evolved over time. It used to be a route that I call peer-to-peer, which I'm going to show you in a second, which is south of here. But then after peer-to-peer, which is 15 miles, I transitioned to a new long run, which is Ghost Peak. And Ghost Peak is probably my favorite run that I do. So for Ghost Peak, I go this way, and then I go up this road here. And again, I drew the houses here because this is supposed to be civilization. And the boundary between civilization and the wilderness on this side is Skunk Bridge. So everything northeast of Skunk Bridge is wild. And I call it Skunk Bridge because I always see skunks on that bridge. This right here is Ghost Bridge. And the reason I call it Ghost Bridge is because this is a ghost house. Ghost house is like this creepy abandoned house there. And that's why I call it Ghost Bridge. So if I keep going this way, I pass the monastery. There's like a monastery on this side. And then you go up into this secret area where there's like a little path. And it's not really obvious where it is, but then it goes up into the hills here, and you're running through all these beautiful hills, and the trail gets really steep here, and then you top out at the top of Ghost Peak. And Ghost Peak has like the best view in the entire San Lorenzo Valley, if you ask me. Then I go back down, and this is 2,500 feet of gain, and that is my long run that I was doing for quite a while. Then, after Ghost Peak was too short for me, I transitioned again to a new long run. So, the peer-to-peer route, which is the long run that I was doing for quite a while, this is the Santa Cruz area, works like this. I would start in here, the beach boardwalk. I would park my car right here at 100 Beach Street. And then I would run from this pier, across the harbor, past the Starbucks, past Pleasure Point, all the way to this pier in Capitola, which is why I call it peer-to-peer, and then back. And that is about 15 miles. Then, I decided that I wanted a new long run after I got comfortable with Ghost Peak. And so what I did was I just simply extended my peer-to-peer route over to New Brighton State Beach. And then I would get to this gazebo here and then turn around, and that's why I call it Gazebo Point. So Gazebo Point is 20 miles. It's a 20-mile run. What I did yesterday was I did the Gazebo Point route, but then I tacked on another mile at the end, making it a 21-mile long run. I will say this. The route has actually changed since I first started doing it, because what happened was there's like a bridge here that goes across this harbor, and this bridge is like now currently under construction. So now what I have to do is I have to bypass the harbor here, and then I take like a side street, and then I go all the way around here, and this dumps me out in Capitola. So I basically avoid the really scenic part, which is like why I like this route, of running along the coast by going along this detour here. So this is the route that I'm currently doing, which I call Gazebo Plus One. All right, so right now it's about 10 o'clock at night, the day before. I feel like I'm doing these runs earlier and earlier. Right now it's so early that it's yesterday. And I'm getting ready to head over to Yosemite National Park, because I'm gonna do a trail run. I'm gonna do Clouds Rest. By the way, if you wanna go to Yosemite National Park nowadays, like in the summertime, you have to get like this reservation thing, and I never get that. And so if you don't wanna get the reservation, you have to get into the park before 6 o'clock in the morning. And so I'm trying to get out the door as quick as possible. So I'm having breakfast right now. So it's about 4 in the morning, and I just got to the Tenaya Lake trailhead. So let's go ahead and get this trail run underway. Welcome to the high country. Let me go ahead and show you around a little bit. Check it out. There's like a deer right there. Can you see him? He's right there.
Morning.
Hello.
Beautiful morning.
Yeah.
So great.
I didn't expect anyone to be up here this early.
We got the sunrise. It's so beautiful.
You guys backpacking?
Yeah.
Where'd you camp at?
Oh, just right down there.
Oh, okay. I thought you camped on the summit.
Yeah, no, we thought about it. And we're like, you know, the wind comes up, you never know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just absolutely perfect today. Just perfect.
Yeah.
No wind, clear skies.
So crazy.
Hello.
Enjoy.
Thanks, take it easy. All right, time 6:55. So I left at 4. Probably not breaking any world records today. That's fine. As you can tell, I did kind of a run walk strategy. But I mean, look at that, dude. Look at that. Have you ever seen anything like that in your entire life? Look at that. All right, guys, story time. This spot right here is very special for me. This is the summit of Clouds Rest, and the view we're looking at right now, which is right here, I think that is the best view I have ever seen in my entire life. And I've seen a lot of views. And not only that, this spot in particular is special for me because this was the first time in my entire life I had ever seen anything like this. I was probably about 6 years old at the time when my mom took me to this spot right here. And I walked across what I call the catwalk. And I was so scared because I had never seen a cliff that big. This is a 3,000-foot cliff. Can you imagine falling 3,000 feet down a cliff? The air pressure would probably kill you before the cliff would. And I looked down that cliff and I was terrified. Terrified. My mom, she sat right here, right in that ledge. And she had a granola bar and she ate it. And she said, "Joey, come here. Sit down on this cliff here." And she was dangling her legs over the edge. I couldn't even get near. She's like, come on over. It'll be fine. And that was the day that she taught me what the difference was between fear and respect. Because I don't fear the mountains, but I do respect them. And on that day, I learned how to manage and how to deal with my fear. And it was my mom who taught that to me. And I'm never going to forget that. That was the single most important event of my entire life. The day that I sat right there on that spot and I dangled my legs over that cliff and I ate a granola bar with my mother on the summit of Clouds Rest when I was 6 years old. All right, so that right there is Half Dome, a place I've been to many a time. Actually, most recently I was here in March in a failed summit attempt. And this right here, the view that I've been referencing, is called Tenaya Canyon. There is no place in the world that looks like this. It's incredibly beautiful. Incredibly beautiful. And this over here is the catwalk, I call it. That's where I came from. But you can also come from this direction during the winter. because Happy Owl Trailhead is over there. And over this direction, which is more or less east, you have the high country. And I think this whole area is the most beautiful place in the entire world. Look at that, man. All right, guys, I've had my granola bar, I've had my water. It's time to head back to the car. So, I just got back from my trail run up to Cloud's Rest. Now I did kind of walk a lot of it, especially on the way up, because when it was dark, I had a hard time seeing and I stumbled quite a bit. So that caused a little bit of delay for me, and I spent a lot of time on the summit. Right now it's right at 10 o'clock in the morning. In fact, I have so much time that I could actually do another hike if I wanted to. But because it's Saturday, tomorrow is my long run. So I do have to do my long run tomorrow. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and head home. But that was a really enjoyable trail run. There's Cloud's Rest on the left over there. So one day, I woke up and I couldn't sleep. And I decided that I was going to go ahead and do the Ghost Peak run. So normally when I do the Ghost Peak run and I get to the top, it's sunrise and the sun is just coming up. But this time was unique because this time when I got to the top, it was dark and I could see the stars. So this picture right here you're seeing, this is taken from the top of Ghost Peak at 4 o'clock in the morning. And that bright object you're seeing there, that's Jupiter. And towards the top right, that cluster of stars there, that's called the Pleiades. And I think the Pleiades is the most beautiful object in the entire universe. And I spend a lot of time looking at the stars and the night sky. So this is not the first time that I'd seen the stars or the night sky. But for some reason, on this particular occasion, I looked up and I just reveled in it. And I basked in this view. And I had some type of spiritual experience. Because I thought to myself, we are just a little speck floating through space. Did you know the Andromeda Galaxy is going to collide with our galaxy in several billion years? And all of the people, places, things, birds, flowers, and everything that you know and love is going to be wiped away? Because the fact of the matter is that this life and this period of time that we spend orbiting the sun is finite, and it is not going to last forever. And we have to make a decision about what we're going to do with that time that we spend as life forms on this earth. And making a difference on this earth is something that we can all do in our own way.
So I was going through a box of old photos and I came across this picture right here. And this is a picture of my mother, Diana Young, on the summit of Clouds Rest in Yosemite National Park. And it's captioned July 29th, 1989. And because I was born in January of 1984, that actually makes me 5 years old and not 6 years old when I first visited that summit and had a granola bar with my mother. I'm going to show you another picture as well. This picture, which is captioned 9/14/91, is taken at Marmot Dome in Yosemite National Park. And as you can see, my mother was a rock climber and a backpacker and an adventurer. And this is where I get it from. And not only that, but also my mother was a marathon runner. This picture, which is captioned April 1st, 1990, is of my mother running her one and only marathon in Modesto, California. My mother is 67 years old currently, and she runs every single day. And she also lifts weights. She never relegated herself to sitting around, drinking beer, watching spectator sports, and getting fat like all of her peers did, who are constantly in and out of the doctor. She never goes to the hospital. She never goes to the doctor. She is strong and healthy as an ox because she chose to follow a life of discipline. And it is my mother who I have to thank for everything that I've accomplished in my life. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank my mother for raising me the way that she did.
Hello.
Hi, this is Joe Young from the American Red Cross.
Hi.
I'm calling about a fire in Modesto on...
Yes.
I have in my notes here there's 4 people displaced.
Correct. Old.
And there's a battalion chief on scene. Battalion chief.
No, I think they've cleared off for the night.
Oh, they have.
But I
Okay.
do have their number.
Hi, this is Joe Young from the American Red Cross. I'm looking for battalion chief.
This is him.
Oh, hey, how you doing? I'm a duty officer of the American Red Cross, and I was told there's 4 individuals that have suffered from a fire.
Yeah, it was it. Is that the name?
Yes, that's correct. Oh, I don't have the last name, but yeah. What was the last name again?
It's,
Okay.
yeah, I don't have it in front of me. I just got back from there. So yeah, we
Okay.
ended up having they had an electrical fire. They caused an attic fire, and we had to pull all the power to the house.
Okay. Hello, this is Joey.
Hi, and you just sent me an RC call and I just responded on the text.
Yep.
What do we know?
So please give me a moment. I'm trying to get this information as quick as possible. I just got the call myself, so I'm going to get back to you in a second, okay?
Awesome, thank you.
Okay. Yep. Bye.
Dispatch.
Hi, my name is Joey Young. I'm from the American Red Cross. I was wondering if you could help me verify a fire that took place.
What location?
That'd be a Antioch, California 94531.
Okay, one moment. I'm just looking it up.
Yeah, Fox Regional, how can I help you?
Hi, my name is Joey Young. I'm from the American Red Cross, and we received a call about a fire on Modesto, California.
Yes,
I got one single family fire, one adult. Is that right?
correct.
Is that fire still on scene at this time?
Fire is currently still on scene, yes.
Okay. Anybody injured?
I know we had one person injured, but I don't know if that's related to this one and the same.
Okay. Do you know the fire chief on scene and his contact information?
Yes, it's going to be for
Yep.
phone number.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Bye. All right, guys. So today is the day we've all been waiting for. Actually, it's the day before the day we've all been waiting for, because tomorrow is race day. And right now, I'm in beautiful Santa Rosa, California, at a little Airbnb here, close to the starting line. And so last night, I was chatting with my unofficial coach, which is my Uncle Ronnie. Now, my Uncle Ronnie is a super good marathon runner. And in his day, he said that he ran his personal best in the 1983 Sacramento International Marathon. And so while I was chatting with him on the phone, I pulled up the results online. And he ran a 2:35:44. And he's like, you know, Joey, although it was my personal best, that was the only time in my running career that I ever got beat by a girl. And I was like, actually, Ronnie, it looks like you got beat by 2 girls. And one of them, Marty Cooksey from Eugene, Oregon, beat you by 1 second. And so he asked me, what is your anticipated finishing time? And I was like, you know, Ronnie, I think I'm gonna finish with like a 4:30. And he's like, Joey, come on. You wanna aim for a 3:45. I'm like, Ronnie, all my training has been in the 4 hours to 4:30 range. And also, Santa Rosa's hot, and I train in cold weather. There's too many wild cards. And he's like, Joey, you don't understand. The wild card is race day. Because during race day, you have the excitement of race day. And I want you to really run and run your heart out. You can do a sub 4 hour marathon.
So I don't know, guys. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna run. And I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna cross that finish line, I'm gonna get a medal, and let the cards fall where they may. I'll see you at the starting line. All right, so right now it's 5:45, and I'm heading over to the starting line, downtown Santa Rosa.
Santa Rosa Marathon for your 26.2 mile run here. Our 6:23 athletes, we are getting close here. I think we're still good now.
Well, I just finished the race with a sub 4-hour time, which is my goal. It's my medal right there. I think I ran a good race today. I feel good. All right, so that was the 2025 Santa Rosa Marathon. And I accomplished my goal and I got a sub 4-hour time. And take a look at this. Bam! There's my medal. I don't know my actual time. I think it was somewhere around 3:31 to 3:33 or so, because the finish line time didn't correspond with my time because I was in Corral B. So anyways, my Strava was somewhere around 3:31, so I think I'm somewhere in that neighborhood. In any case, I'm happy with my time and I way surpassed my previous record of 5:09:19. I will say this, the first half of the race, I felt like I was going really fast. In fact, I was going so fast that I was actually worried. I was worried that I was going too fast and I was gonna run out of energy. But at mile 20, I had a gel. And at mile 23, I had another gel. And I was running with a group of girls and they were really motivating and I really liked them. And so we kind of paced each other the whole way. And it just was a really motivational group of people that I was running with. I can't really explain it, but there is something about the other people that you're running with that help you push yourself. It was a great course too, and the weather was phenomenal. It was super overcast. It wasn't hot at all.
it was one of the best races I've ever ran. I'm just really happy, and now everything hurts, and I'm gonna go home, and I'm gonna do absolutely nothing for the rest of the day. All right, guys, so that was the 2025 Santa Rosa Marathon. This right here is my medal, and I'm really excited that it matches my clothes, which was a complete coincidence. And I'm also excited that I had great weather because it was overcast the whole time, and the course was flat. So I had a really good time in this race. And so, I hope that someone watching this video is going to get inspired to run their own marathon. And if you are, then I'll see you in Honolulu in December of 2025, because that is going to be my next marathon. Alright guys, so before I forget, I just wanted to give a quick thank you to all the people who donated to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fundraiser campaign. And those people are John Haynes, Umit Utsa, Anonymous, Christina Wellowing, Anonymous, Derek Crocker, Anita Zhao, Juan Benitez, Anonymous, Anonymous, Trang Doan, Louise Sumter, NSK Family, Rohit Markande, Kevin Brown, Mary Lotz, Katie Crick, Lisa Paul, and Leslie Tompkins. Collectively, you guys donated $1,095 to the campaign, which is incredible, so thank you.